These skies are blue, clouds are white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Your babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Some things you just see it coming. You can't resist. I shouldn't be doing this. There you go. You do it. That's how we are. We're humans.
So we just invite you to silence your cell phones.
You saw it. You're on. Is the lights on? There's nobody home. Wait.
This happened last week.
There you go. Try that.
Okay, I was on mute. Probably for a reason.
Should we repeat the...
Yeah, so may we invite you to silence those ego disturbers called cell phones or any other texting. And so we'd like you to welcome each other this morning with a hug, a handshake, and just I behold the greatness in you.
Okay, we're back. We got another song. Talking about gratitude today, so we're going to sing an easy chant by Karen Director called I Am So Blessed. But more like blessed. 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 So you. Right here. It's right here. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. Open your heart and feel this blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so
welcome you today after the service to be part of the welcoming and attraction design system.
Yes.
So, Sue Barton.
There she is in there.
She is, right.
By the door, ready for the meeting.
And this is all about creating that sacred space and a way to welcome people in an authentic way that helps them to feel safe, comfortable. And so we really do invite you, any of you who are interested in helping create that, to join us at 12:30.
Yes.
Is that right, Sue? At
in the conference room in the office.
Yes.
That's right.
So if you've been kind of sitting on the fence about that, we do need your thoughts and your spiritual thoughts and ideas. So please join us. What you have to offer is very important to the team.
That's right.
So great.
And we have something new that we want to report to you today. It's called Be Peace Practice Groups. Many of you know that Be Peace training has been out there. Denise did the initial foundations course recently. Be Peace is a process of, it's a way of combining really the heart math process, which is about getting in touch with your heart and coherence, and then the nonviolent communication, kind of moving those things together in a way that really can create peace. It's not just, a nice word, it becomes a practice. So the practice groups, practice makes perfect, that's what they say. And really it is all about practice. There's no such thing as enlightenment or achievement, there's practice. And so the opportunities for that is going to be the first and third Wednesdays of every month. And it'll be from 6:30 to 8:30 over at the UCOD conference room as well. So there's a flyer in Fellowship Hall, has more details around that. And so that's something definitely to consider.
And I just want to add to that I have been through the first part of this, Be Peace. And I can only tell you how my relationships in business and personal, amazing, the shift, the ease of being able to really communicate in a very authentic way, in a very simple practice, will really add value to your life. So we just invite you to come and check it out. And in addition to that, the Conscious Connection Circles. And some of you may know something about that. They're coming in August, and really what it is we sit here and we hear this amazing message every Sunday. And if you're like me, I want someone to talk to about it, to get me out of my head and to firmly place the message in my heart with a group of people to raise the consciousness. And so that's what we'll be doing in August, right?
Yes. Yes.
And we have sign-ups, right?
We have a
August
sign-up
1st,
sheet,
right?
if you're interested in it, we'll give you more details as we go along.
Okay. When are they going to start?
It's going to be mid-August.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the date is, but it'll be the second week in August. And we'll have multiple opportunities depending on where you live. And people will sort of organize around geographic locations. But essentially, the idea, as Mon said, will be to take the Sunday message and deepen it through conversation, dialogue, and mutual support.
Good.
Yeah. Also, let you know we are looking for a music director, and we mentioned this last week. We have a very detailed description of the ideal candidate for that. So if you know of anyone who has talents, particularly around vocal leadership, a good musician would be nice as well. So we've got this really nice, beautiful, long list of the ideal person, and we can see that person coming forward. David is not going anywhere, so just to assure you that David is not going to be a part of the team. No, don't say that. No, we're trying to create a team, and we have strength in musicianship here with David. We're looking for strength in vocal leadership. So those two are going to be a killer. So we're just going to get better and better. So please consider that and pass the word on.
Wonderful. Yeah. And of course, each Sunday we have prayer chaplains that are in service to pray with you and just support you in love and understanding and help you reconnect to your spirit essence and that place of healing. And Sarah, I think, is visiting with these beautiful little spirit children this morning. So she's working with the children, but after service she'll be with me to pray with you. So please, we invite you to do that.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. And now it's a time for us to remember and to embody this mission statement that we've co-created recently. So just to invite you to open your heart and to realize this is something that we wish to live out, not just words on a page, getting thoughts in our head, but this is an intention for this community. You know, it doesn't mean that we're completely expressing it at this point. It means that it's our highest idea. So please join us in knowing this together. Unity Center of Davis is a loving spiritual community that embraces humanity and inspires spiritual awakening. So it is. So this is a time for our meditation, and we have a beautiful chant to take us there. Mark will lead us. Just sit back and allow this beautiful experience. God is here. God is now, God is all. God is the light within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. God is here, God is now, God is all. God is the life within my heart. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world.
God is here. God is all. And I just invite us to take in that deep breath, that God breath. Surrendering into that familiar, peaceful place of serenity. As you settle into your seat, you feel the flow of God through your breath, through your hands, the vibration that God is all. I am that I am. And as you continue to breathe in to that God place, God is all, right now, always. I choose that God, I am one with God. I am one with Spirit. Breathing in deeply. Surrendering to that place of calm, of knowing, of ease, and love for yourself. And as you feel the love, opening up your heart, expanding your heart, that driving force, that spiritual essence of who you are is the power of love to heal any situation, any circumstance. As you continue to breathe, you just feel that heart space opening wider, a willingness. You move from willingness to gratitude. Gratitude to know I am love. I am that spirit essence, powered with the healing force of love in any situation, with any person. And you just feel that as you sit in the silence in that place so familiar. God is all. The belief that God is all, the deep belief, is powered by I am that I am. The belief goes deeper and deeper. The belief and the faith, knowing that I am one with Spirit, fueled and wrapped in that cloak of gratitude and knowing that as I hold on to that faith and that belief that all is well in any situation or circumstance, the appearances, the illusion, the stuff begins to melt away as I firmly surrender into my spirit essence, my willingness, this comfortable place that I call home. And as I easily continue to breathe, I am filled with the joy and the gratitude that this faith is exploding. And that with this power of love in my heart, all light washes away and shines away any darkness in any situation or circumstance. That as we are one with Spirit, we trust in any situation that the power of the healing love creates the wholeness, the light, and the good. I am so grateful, God, for my faith and the power of love. And so it is. Amen.
Yeah, we set peacefulness right now. And now I'm going to shake it a little bit for you. I want you to move around your seat, and I want you to get up. Whenever you feel like it, and I want you to come on in. Dave's going to do a little chant for me, and we'll know exactly what we're going to do. like this. Your body wants to move like this. Every once in a while you want to kind of raise that little hand there. And I want you to feel this song throughout your day. And hopefully take a little bit of it with you, because everybody really needs to feel something like this at least one time during their day. Oh, 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 oh. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Let's do that one again. You sing along with me. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. You know it's true. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Here's the news. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Come on with me now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Now you get into it. Stand up, everybody. I can feel it in my body. Oh, I can feel it in my soul. I can feel it in my heart. And it won't let go. One more time, let's take it home. Something wonderful. Oh, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Yeah. Something wonderful. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. One more time with us. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Explode! Something wonderful. What now? Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Two-word finish. Something wonderful. Yeah.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now. Wow. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, David. I felt that one. There's no getting out of it, is there? I mean, you just gotta let it get to you. You gotta get into it. Otherwise, you know, you stay stuck somewhere else. We know that one. How many people are willing to make a shift today in their consciousness? To be more aware of the wonder that they already are? Yes? Yes, yes, yes. That's why we come to places like this, right? That's why we go to the workshops and the classes, read the books, do our prayers and meditations, because we know there's something greater, don't we? Even if we're having the worst day, there's a part of us that never forgets. And that's the part of us that we are wanting to become bigger, right? And more awake to. You know, it's like, we may have amnesia, but it's not temporal. You know, we may have forgotten, but you can bring it back. It may be latent, but it can become activated. And that's what I think this work is for us. We're not telling you anything, you never hear anything spiritually that you don't already know. What these services are about, all of these practices are about, is activating that in you. Just a catalyst, just that spark to set ablaze what is the truth that will set you free. Oh, that felt like preaching right there. Truth that will set you free. So who knows what could happen today? It could be some preaching. We are going to do our third core value. We've all committed it to memory, but in case you've forgotten, it is gratitude. Could you have guessed so far? We believe that God and life are inherently good. We continuously look for the good, give thanks, and joyously celebrate the life before us. Isn't that good? We've done good on that one. It's a great reminder. It's filled with a lot, though. And I'm like, how am I going to get through this one in one 30-minute message? So you'll have to really put on your thinking caps, or your spiritual understanding caps would be even better, right? Because the thinking caps sometimes like, what? I can't figure it out. But you want to be, there's a truth in this, like I said at the beginning, as you already know. So when we wrestle with this notion that all is well, that God and life are good, okay, all kinds of stuff comes up, does it not? Yeah, but if life is so good, then how come? So I mean, that could be a 3-hour class, it could be a 6-week class on that very topic. But today you're going to get it all in 30 minutes, and you're going to know it to be true. Or you won't. But it won't be over. Because life is a process for us. So let me begin here with a quote, and then we'll go from there. This quote is from Thornton Wilder. He says, "We can only be said to be alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures." We can only said to be alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures. And my first reaction when I read that was, for most of us, we should probably be walking around with portable defibrillators. Because if our aliveness has to do with the awareness and the consciousness of our treasures on an ongoing basis, we are probably walking on thin ice most of the time. But if you understand what he's saying in there, that there is living and then there is aliveness, right? Living is just sort of going through the motions, you know, allowing the animation of the body temple and to, you know, show up in life with a certain amount of willingness to enter into those things which are calling you to do. But aliveness is a whole nother level. And aliveness is really tapping into an appreciation of the wonder of your being, of the vastness of who you are, of the spiritual treasure that is within you. And that's what Jesus talked about when he talked about the kingdom of heaven. I mean, the kingdom of heaven is such a huge notion compared to the ordinary life that most people walk around with, just trying to make it through another day, you know, just walking through this life and just hoping that things go well. That's surviving, that's not thriving. So we're talking here about an attitude, a perspective, a realization that can break us out of this sort of sleepwalking through life and to awaken us. And so we start with these concepts, and we don't stop with concepts. We allow those concepts to inform our practices, that our practices might then shift our consciousness. Yes? So it isn't just about, oh, I get it, you know, that's up here. You know, I understand life is good and God is good and I, you know, I can be grateful. But if we don't allow that to move through us in a way that can open us and to brighten us and to expand our sense of who we are, then it's a fruitless practice. So let's get into this thing here. I got a little metaphysical download yesterday as I was thinking about this message. So forgive me, I just have to say this, because sometimes I get a little, a little mental, you know. Denise would agree with that assessment. And so this might be a little too heady, but I like it, so I just got to show you. So here's what I wrote. Gratitude is commonly understood to be a response or an effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, right, a response, such as giving thanks for having received something that one appreciates or values, right? Example, if I am given a gift, when I get the gift, that's the cause, right? And I might feel gratitude to the person who gave it to me for my good fortune, and that's the effect. That's a response. That's what gratitude is, a response to life. Yes? Feeling that arises in me after something happens that evokes appreciation in me. Now, we're all very familiar with that. That's not news. What is news is that it's a conditioned response. Think about that. It requires certain conditions to be met before one responds with gratitude. Because it is conditional, it is therefore limited. You understand where we're going here? Okay. If we're to grow spiritually, we must adopt attitudes and perspectives that do not depend on conditions, circumstances, causes, right? But are ever present and applicable all the time. All the time. That's what spiritual growth and development looks like, which is what we talked about in week 1. So we're not giving that up. When we talk about gratitude, we're not talking about it as a response to life going according to our preferences. That's easy. Like when Jesus said, what good is it if you love those who love you? You know, it's kind of in that category. I'm not going to go into that one today, though. You'll be grateful to know. Gratitude can be so much more powerful to affect one's life experience and expand one's spiritual awareness when it is causal. You like that word? I don't know if that's a word. I like it, though. Causal in nature, which means an unconditioned state of mind that requires nothing to happen before it is evoked in one's consciousness. See? Unconditioned. Unconditioned. You know, you've heard about unconditional love, right? I mean, that is the epitome of unconditional positive regard. This is like unconditional positive regard for life in general. And because it's unconditioned, it takes us, to visit this, takes us into the realm of our being that is spiritual. That is that essence, that true nature of who we are. Because unconditioned automatically says, this ordinary surface mind, this egoic mind that says, you know, if I'm getting what I want, I'm happy, and when I'm not getting what I want, I'm sad. If you give me what I want, I'll be grateful for you. And if you don't give me what I want, I'll be ungrateful, and even worse. That part of us knows nothing of the unconditioned mind. So we're working really to develop that spiritual awareness, and that spiritual awareness is always available to us, but we have to have practices. And in this case, we have a statement that invites us into that state of mind. Okay, so, since our spiritual perspective of life insists that the good that we seek is already resident within us, right? Then our gratitude becomes a consciousness conditioner. Gratitude becomes a consciousness conditioner. Do you understand what I'm saying? A conditioner is putting it in the tangle-free mode, shall we say. So it isn't hooked into conditions anymore. It puts itself in a place in which appreciation arises just out of the awareness of your being itself. Because when you're in your being itself, nothing needs to change. Oh, one of those talks, you understand? It's a high one, folks. Awakening us by way of expectation and appreciation for the good that is already at hand, even though it may be beyond our human, it's a P word, perception. Even though it may be beyond our human perception. Wow, isn't this big? It's really big. So in causative fashion, in causative fashion, why was it a different mind when I wrote this? I can't even say that. Someone want to read for me this morning? All right, I'll go slow. In causative fashion, anticipatory form of gratitude expands and deepens our perception, that we might see beyond life's appearances and behold the veritable good that is seated in every moment of life. Anticipatory. Can you think anticipatory? You're like a little kid on Christmas morning knowing it's going to be good. You have no idea what's under the tree. Well, in my house you did, but you just know. You haven't even opened anything up yet, but you know. Because you believe the promise. This is the same thing that Jesus said when he said, when you pray, pray believing that you have received, and it will be yours. Pray believing that you have received. Not that you will, that you have. What was he talking about? He was talking about this good, this wholeness, this life that is essential to you and me, that is always available to us in its absolute fullness, that is only as absent from our awareness, but fully present in our being. Yes? Is this too heavy? No. Okay, good. Some people are like, oh, I wish it was more inspiring. So let me go here. Got a little Zen story for you here. I love this. I had to explain it to Denise a couple of times. Of course, I'd read it 5 times before that. Don't you love it when you go, listen to this? And she goes, I don't get it. Well, let me explain it to you. It's like this. Of course, I'd read it over and over. You guys will get it much quicker, though, because you're much more dialed in. So this is a story of a famous Zen teacher. He was the son of the emperor. When he was very young, his mother left the palace and went to study Zen in a temple. In this way, Prince Ikkyu also became a student. When his mother passed on, she left him with a letter, and it read, Dear Ikkyu, I have finished my work in this life and am now returning into eternity. I wish you to become a good student and to realize your Buddha nature. If you become a man who realizes that the Buddha and his follower Bodhidharma are your own servants, you may leave off studying and work for humanity. Here's the kicker. The Buddha preached for 49 years, and in all that time found it not necessary to speak one word. The Buddha preached for 49 years, and in all that time found it unnecessary to speak one word. You ought to know why. But if you don't, and yet wish to, avoid thinking fruitlessly. Don't you love these Zen stories that kind of confound you and go, huh? So the human reaction to that, of course, the surface mind goes, wait a minute, you just said he preached for 49 years. Why would he preach for 49 years if he realized it was unnecessary to speak one word? I don't know. This is one of those things where you get that enlightenment helps you realize that everything you're doing out here is secondary. And that to know the truth, you simply need to follow the voice within you. You would never have to utter a word. The Buddha did not need to utter one word to achieve enlightenment. He did not even need to utter one word for anyone else to achieve enlightenment. Of course, I hope you won't take this to heart. Just realize it's a Zen story, not a unity story. Because I would be really disappointed if you stopped listening. Reverend Larry said he doesn't need to preach anymore, or at least I don't need to listen anymore. But in the meantime, I love this story because what it does is it, in sort of a profound and in a silent way, it takes us inside. It sort of like stops the chatter, the urge to accomplish something, to realize something out here, to manipulate our life or circumstances or people or any situations to achieve that sense of gratitude, that sense of feeling I'm finally good, I'm finally well, I'm finally whole, I'm finally complete. It takes that whole franticness around life, around achieving spiritual growth and development, and reminds us that what you were looking for is what you were looking from. What you were seeking is the awareness behind the seeking. The one that looks and says, look what Larry is looking for now. Look what I'm needing now to be happy. The needs do not define the path to spiritual growth. They define the obstacles. So, what else is there to say? Oh, but wait. There's another one. Just when you thought you got that one. Oh, let me just qualify this, the last statement of that, when she says, if you don't understand why, avoid thinking fruitlessly. And that's pretty much what I just said at the end. Fruitless thinking would be to think that there is something that you need to pursue, to go in the wrong direction, to be, trying to achieve spiritual awareness by some external means. That would be thinking fruitlessly. The journey is a journey without distance, as A Course in Miracles says. The journey home. Okay, so this one, this is a different kind of a talk they're saying out there. Just before Ninakawa passed away, the Zen master Ikkyu again, he gets a lot of press here, visited him. So he's getting ready to make his transition. And Ikkyu says to him, shall I lead you on? Ninakawa replied, I came here alone, and I go alone. What help could you be to me? And Ikkyu answered, if you think you really come and go, that is your delusion. Let me show you the path on which there is no coming and no going. With his words, Ikkyu had revealed the path so clearly that Ninakawa smiled and passed away. Let me show you the path where there is no coming and no going. We talk a lot in here about being present. And being present is just not a nice idea so that your attention is here. Being present is actually a portal into your being. It's the only way we can really be in touch with our essential self, is by being present. And when you're present, when you're fully present, you can be aware of, capital P, presence, your true nature. And in presence, there's nowhere to go. Presence doesn't come in, and presence doesn't go out. It's like when people say, where does God come into unity? Because our prayers and everything are quite different. Well, where does God come in? We say, quite coyly, God doesn't come in because God never went out. So this is really kind of a Zen kind of a message here today. And the reason that I'm approaching it this way is because there's a lot of pushback for a lot of people, especially smart people, who you are, when you hear a little bit too much of this, God is good, and life is good all the time. Because if your intellect, works, for you, sincerely and actively most of the time, then it will raise the counter arguments to that contention, that affirmation, right? What do you mean God is good all the time? And I'll give you a whole list of situations, and I'll tell you, and if that's true, then how could this be? And see, then you get into this sort of contentious battle, this sort of dualistic thing that you feel, unless you resolve it, that you will never come to understand. But the Zen approach is to say, forget the dualistic idea. Forget this idea that there's good and bad, and because those words are very charged, and they live in a state of constant conflict, trying to seek balance. But if we get this notion that we are our beingness, our essential nature, who we are as the offspring of the divine, that we are whole and complete in every way, that's the kind of good we're talking about, right? And that's not good versus bad, that's good in terms of wholeness. where there is no opposite. Of Course in Miracles says, that which is all-encompassing has no opposite. And I think it refers to love, doesn't it? Love is all-encompassing. That which is all-encompassing can have no opposite. You are a spiritual being, whole and complete in every way. I am. It can have no opposite. So I talk about good and bad in that context, because it'll just raise the hackles of resistance in us. Does anyone relate to this? Does anyone have a problem with that sort of positive philosophy when you hear that, besides me? Am I the only one? Well, no, I'm not. Okay. So, what was our time? Okay. A couple more minutes and then I'm going to show you a beautiful video by David Stendhal Ross in just a moment on gratitude. Willa Cather, who is an author, wrote this. She says, miracles rest not so much upon faces or voices or healing power coming suddenly near to us from afar off, but upon our perception being made finer, so that for a moment our eyes can see and our ears can hear what is there about us always. See, this is this notion. Miracles do not depend upon something coming to us. Miracles have to do with our perception being made finer, being made more attuned to a reality beyond the surface. Jesus said, don't judge by those appearances. If you really want to know who you are, if you really want to know who somebody else is, don't judge that book by cover. Allow your perception to be made finer, which is essentially to say, let me see this person as they are. Let me experience my being beyond the body, beyond the circumstances, beyond the story. It's non-dual. It's not you're going to be happy when. Oh, you might be happy then. But we're talking about a different kind of happiness, aren't we? Not the kind that rises and falls with the circumstances that suit us and those that don't. You know, the outrageous winds of fortune and misfortune which blow through everybody's life. That is very tiring. It's not growth-inducing, and you're really hard to live with. So Greens tells me. I think I just got the log in my eye. Talking about perception. Interesting. So let's go to the video, because this is about gratitude. And David Stendhal Rost is this beautiful man, Austrian, Benedictine monk, I believe is his background. And his whole thing, his whole life, spiritual teaching has been on gratitude. There's an organization, a website called gratefulness.org. And he wrote a book called Gratefulness, The Art of Happiness. And he has this wonderful quote that says, happiness does not come, gratefulness does not come from happiness. Happiness comes from gratefulness. So this is a beautiful demonstration of how we can change our perception and see all that is already good and all that we can be grateful for. Can everyone see the screen a little bit more? Can you guys see the screen? Yeah. Could be the lights on.
Can someone? I can't get it.
Do you think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you today. It's given to you. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now. And the only appropriate response is gratefulness. if you do nothing else but to cultivate that response to the great gift that this unique day is, if you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. Begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. We just think of the weather. And even of the weather, we don't think of all the many nuances of weather. We just think of good weather and bad weather. This day, right now, has unique weather. Maybe a kind that will never exactly in that form come again. The formation of clouds in the sky will never be the same that it is right now. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people who you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. A story that you could never fully fathom. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. We all go back so far. And in this present moment, on this day, all the people you meet, all that life from generations and from so many places all over the world, flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch, there's electric light. You turn a faucet and there's warm water and cold water and drinkable water. It's a gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. So these are just a few of an enormous number of gifts to which we can open your heart. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you. Just by your eyes, by your smile, by your touch, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. Then it will really be a good day.
And so the invitation for us this week is to consider how it would be if we were to ask the question, if nothing were to change, what would I consider good in my life? What would I count to be something to be grateful for? If nothing were to change. And that then will take you automatically out of the surface mind, right? That always needs the condition of gratitude to be the conditioned response and allow it to be causative. That appreciation can arise in us when we look for what is already present, what is already good. So this will be my challenge this week, and have at it. Good luck. Sister Mom.
Thank you. So we come together to hold that beautiful offering in your hand, and the flow of that unconditional gratefulness that comes through you every time you write that expression of prosperity. And so we just know that this morning, as you hold that beautiful offering in your hand, that gratefulness goes out into the community and creates gratefulness and love for others. And so I invite you to hold that and with me share our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful. Mark, we're grateful for you.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here, and I love it when I'm here. So as long as you can keep standing here, I'll be here.
Tossed by the waves on a sea of mixed emotions, and lost in the roar of a clamoring commotion. The thunder deafens and lightning blinds, drowning in the darkness in the ocean of my mind. Taught by the world to believe in fear's illusion, and caught in the world of chaos and confusion. I close my eyes and calm my soul. I feel the truth within me, and I let it take control. And I'm centered in the storm, and I know I'm not alone. Thunder is the voice of God leading me home. When I'm centered in the storm, where it's always safe and warm, I see a beacon in the night, keeping me centered in the storm. Led by the sun to the shores of my salvation, and fed by the love that exists in all creation. And I will never drift off course. Faith is my anchor when God is my source. When I'm centered in the storm, and I know I'm not alone. Thunder is the voice of God leading me home. When I'm centered in the storm, where it's always safe and warm, I see a beacon in the night, keeping me centered in the storm. Set to drift upon this chain,
storm. That's a good affirmation to take away. And bragging on David a little bit here, just to let you know that I just threw that MP3 to David. We didn't have a chart, sheet music or anything, and David worked up all that accompaniment from the ear and the hand.
It was really, I just walked into rehearsal and David and I, we spent hours and hours, right? Oh, was that 20 minutes? Because he's so good. Because he's so good. I just walk in there and he's ready. And it's just like, wow, I've got to be, he makes me up my game. It's a great thing.
So we would like to welcome anyone who is here for the first time.
With
If you'd
gratitude,
like to,
yes.
Yes, with great gratitude. So if you'd like to raise your hand, this is really a safe place for you to come home to your spirituality as we support all people of all faiths to be able to practice those practical application of spirituality. So we're so glad that you're here, and you've already received a packet, I can see, with an orange card. Is there anyone else that we've missed? Oh, right over here. And Moon is rushing right now. So we invite you to complete the orange card. You can turn it in and receive a copy of today's service CD. And it also allows us to stay in touch with you with the spiritual message that comes out weekly that you don't want to miss. And wait for it.
Oh, yes.
Every Friday afternoon or early Saturday morning.
Oh.
Don't we?
Oh, now I feel the pressure. Okay.
So start writing.
Also, if this is your first time, or your second, or your third, and you haven't received a packet and would rather not self-identify, totally understand that. So please feel free to go into the fellowship hall, and the same information is over there. And I also want to let you all know that we're now, as you know, videoing our services, and you can go up on our website and you can watch our services online. Does not give you an excuse to stay home on Sundays, however. But it is really, it's a broader understanding of wanting to make this available to as many people as possible. If you can't be here for some reason, if someone is housebound, or you know someone who would benefit by it, refer them to our website and they can watch these service online. Okay.
And apparently there are some very special peanut butter cookies that Nancy brought this morning.
Yeah.
She came in with an armored guard.
Let us waste not any more time then.
That's right.
I think I
Oh,
need
is
to
that
get
a
the
hint?
door. Move it along.
So now we're going to do our prayer of protection and
No, I'm
peace.
for newcomers.
Oh,
We're gonna bless
blessing.
people, yeah.
Oh, you said. That's
No, I didn't mean to.
okay.
Banner.
Let's bless them.
This will all be online, everybody.
Yes, it's all right. Yeah.
So we behold everyone, and we send a special welcome to those who are here for the first time today. And we see you as the divine beholds us. So let's know this together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold God's love as you. Welcome to the St. Davis. Thank you for being here. That's good, it's all good. And we would like to now stand and sing our peace song. The words will be up here on the screen.
With God
presence, that power, that love is within us. So let's say this together and remember it as we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. And the love of God enfolds us. I am that love. And the power of God protects us. I am that power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so I am grateful. Yes? Yes?